Am I afraid of death? You bet I am. Death sounds boring. I mean, it's just like it's the end of everything. Death, there's no way back from.
If you don't look young, you're not young, and therefore you are more likely to die. The biggest risk factor for mortality is your age.
We are already somewhat at that point where we can choose at any point to stop our lives, right? But people who want to live, who enjoy life, wouldn't it be nice to have the option to extend our lives as long as we wish?
Dit is Tegenlicht, op zoek naar het eeuwige leven.
Thank you for calling the Alcor Life Extension Foundation. This call may be recorded. If you are reporting the death or near death of an Alcor member, please press 2 now.
You only live twice, or so it seems.
Diep in de woestijn van Arizona, ver van aardbevingsgevaar en de strenge regelgeving van Silicon Valley in de staat Californië, staat Alcor. Een centrum waar je je kan laten invriezen na je legal death. In afwachting van de technologie die je weer tot leven kan wekken. Je lichaam invriezen kost $200.000, je hoofd $80.000. En familieleden krijgen korting.
Well, my husband and I were the founders of Alcor. We incorporated it in 1972. This is a picture of my husband when I first met and fell in love with him. Quite a young man. And I chose that picture because it helps me to remind people that a part of what we are interested in is not just coming back as old people with feeble hearts or something, but when the technologies are available to revive us, they will be robust enough. They will also be able to rejuvenate us. So next time I see him, he'll probably look pretty much like this. And I might point out, in addition to our patients, we have a lot of pets here too. These 2 pets belong to our Vice President of Finance, Bonnie McGee, and maybe Bonnie can come out and tell us a little bit about these special pets.
Yeah, so this is my cat Laika and my dog Nutmeg, and they're cryopreserved here. They're my family. They're kind of like my children, so I just want to be reunited with them in the future.
How much does it cost to have your cat preserved at Alcor?
It's about $5,000 for just the head, yeah.
And for dogs, it can vary dramatically because there are small dogs, there are big dogs, and so every one of them we have to kind of price individually depending on their size. This is the patient care bay. Currently, 3 of my family members are here. This is the capsule where my husband is. My husband was cryopreserved in 2012. This is the capsule where my mother and my father-in-law are. And I'll probably be in a capsule like this one behind you.
Meteen na overlijden worden de patiënten, of alleen hun hoofd, om weefselschade te beperken in hun ijskoude maar tijdelijke rustplaats ondergedompeld. Zij verkeren volgens de mensen van Alcor ergens in een toestand tussen leven en dood.
What is it like for you? Because they're neither dead nor alive.
Well, it's kind of like if you were in a hospital and a person was in a coma. You know that their body is still alive and that there's hope that medical technology will be able to fix what they died of and bring them back to a healthy state of functioning. And so for me, it's very much like that. I feel very joyful and happy when I'm back here. In addition to my family members, I have dozens of good friends that I have known over the years. This is just a very inviting place for me. I like being here. Am I afraid of death? You bet I am. Death sounds boring. I mean, it's just like it's the end of everything. Death, there's no way back from. With cryonics, we're talking about stopping death so that we have a chance of living vastly extended lifespans. But death, real death, means all the information that was once in your body, all that information is gone irretrievably. Maybe fear isn't the right word, because obviously you're not experiencing anything when that happens, you're not feeling anything. Maybe a better word to say is a protest, or detesting the idea of just going out of existence.
Er zijn mensen die de risico's voor lief nemen en zichzelf tot levend laboratorium hebben gebombardeerd om op cel- en genniveau te experimenteren met levensverlenging. Liz Parrish is de oprichtster en CEO van BioViva, een biotechbedrijf dat verjongingstherapieën aanbiedt. Ze was zelf de eerste patiënt en onderging onder meer een gentherapie waarbij haar telomeren, de uiteinden van chromosomen, werden verlengd. Zo ging, volgens haar onderzoekers, haar biologische leeftijd van 47 jaar aanzienlijk naar beneden.
So it's not entirely true that I'm the first genetically modified woman on Earth. From the beginning of history, humans have been genetically modified by viruses. So when you get sick, you often get a viral integration. And then there's lots of people who are going through genetic therapies right now for monogenic disease. So that means if they have a single gene that has a problem, we can replace that and actually cure the disease, which is fantastic. But I am the first person to be genetically modified to actually treat biological aging, and doing that on purpose. So that's where I'm number one. We know that looking younger is more attractive because it's actually in less of a disease state. If you don't look young, you're not young, and therefore you are more likely to die. The biggest risk factor for mortality is your age.
Wasn't it also a bit scary to do these therapies?
Well, my son has a chronic disease, and so it's actually really hard for me to watch him suffer with that every day. It was hard for me to watch my grandmothers die. We can't continue to live in the delusion that we're going to live forever just because we're not dead today. Okay, so we have to pioneer new technology, and to me, it's more scary not taking a risk on new therapies and knowing the way I'm going to die. So I'm not interested in dying the way that people did in the past.
And are you Are you afraid of dying? Are you?
No, I'm not afraid of dying. So that's probably one of the reasons I make a good pioneer. So for me, it's kind of all or nothing. Either we start solving the problems of the future and the now, or we are not participating in making a better world. So I would rather be dead than die of the diseases of aging.
In de meeste westerse landen zijn de controversiële therapieën, die vaak alleen op dieren getest zijn, verboden. Liz Parrish reisde daarom naar Colombia om de gentherapieën te ondergaan.
The idea of me being the first patient wasn't somebody else's. That was my idea. That we couldn't use the therapies in other people if we didn't really know what would happen. And since it was my company, I would take the risk. And, you know, I really want to stick by that I wouldn't put any drug into another body that I wouldn't take myself. So it was an exciting time, and it was very contemplative. I ensured that, you know, everything in my life was in order, so that in the worst case scenario, nobody was left with any messes. And we really, as a group, a very small group, felt like we were pioneering the future for humanity. And that felt the best. You know, right now, death is inevitable and disease is inevitable, and we're trying to change that. And so being part of that felt really important. It really did.
What would be an ideal age for you?
If you could choose when you were going to die, I don't think anyone could really do that, because if you said 1,000, On your 1000th birthday, I think you would say 1001, right? So we enjoy living. We don't know what comes after living. So what is there? Do we really want to gamble on that, or would we prefer to go on living? And we see by how people behave and how much money they spend on health care trying to stay alive after they've been diagnosed that people prefer to live. And so when we think about big ideas about how long we can live, it becomes really quite overwhelming. It's like, what would I do with all that time? But again, humans fall into time really easily. We know what to do with time when we have it. We always say we don't have enough, and I foresee that we will continue to say that even if we extended lifespan by 3 times again.
In een gated community, gebouwd rondom een golfbaan in Phoenix, Arizona, woont nog een do-it-yourself levensverlenger. Deze vastgoedmiljonair en rentenier gebruikt onder meer het experimentele FOXO4 Dry. Een middel dat tot nu toe alleen op muizen is getest. De biologische klok van de muizen werd hierdoor spectaculair teruggedraaid.
Okay, so here's where I keep some of my supplements and experimental longevity drugs. This is olive leaf, biotin, testosterone, nattokinase, glucosamine, horny goatweed. Not sure what that's supposed to do for me, but it sounds good. There's also rapamycin, which is a very interesting longevity drug. So this is an exciting time for longevity enthusiasts. Whatever I take, there's a kind of a risk analysis that I do. Some things, there's a very low risk, I take it. And you know, the question is, how likely is it to help? Well, that's weighed into it as well. Now, for example, FOXO4 Dry, from the studies that we've seen so far, the risk seems low with the mice that were tested. And that's why, a big reason why I'm taking it. It's not manufactured in large quantities now. You have to get a lab to synthesize it for you, custom made. So this is extremely expensive.
How expensive is it?
I think that it's about, on low, you know, normally you buy low quantities, but like $500 for a milligram. So that would make this 5,000. But of course you get quantity discounts. All done.
Why are you so interested in extending your lifespan and using yourself as a patient zero in this field?
So I think that maybe the political answer would be that I'm doing it to save the world, and there is a small piece of me that is interested in saving the world and helping science. And whatever my results are, and I've published a little bit of it, positive or negative, they will help other people that come after me. On the other hand, I guess I'm inherently selfish in that I would like to find something where I can extend my lifespan and extend my health span, more importantly, and perhaps be around for a long time.
I'm worried about him because we had some previous situations.
The disidenib.
That's when you lie down and was scratchy and your heart was beating and you look like all puffed up, right, Darren? And I was worried, so we checked the blood pressure, was very high. What was it, Darren?
186.
Yeah, he got better, but I'm worried when he takes a lot of pills or new stuff. I want him around and, obviously he's looking good.
Can you show me what you mean?
Yeah, like before when I put the hand,
it's
like
thicker,
it was like nothing. There was the scalp, like you could see skin. Right now there is like hair. You can't see anything there. Your nails?
My nails seem to grow well. Yeah, I mean, aches and pains, I don't really have those. I'm fairly fit. Just the standard, I guess, problems. So I think for my age, I'm probably fairly normal. I'm 52 next month.
And
52.
Okay. Doesn't the thought that you might outlive the woman you love because you use this therapy and she doesn't scare you?
It's not that I believe this is such a radical formula that I will take one shot and then suddenly I'm, you know, Benjamin Button. And this is maybe step one, and then other technologies, who knows, stem cells or whatever happens to be the best thing available. And my wife will take also, if I can convince her.
What we see is a better world coming, and we have to be very careful that we don't get stuck in the myths of what is ethical. So when we talk about biological aging and should we solve it, you know, you have to remember as a society, we've already decided, we've mandated to cure cancer, to cure Alzheimer's. So treating it biological aging is essentially just curing those diseases. So when we look at the US, we look at a country that has the longest lifespans and the shortest lifespans in the same country due to the lack of access of health, due to insurance companies and their really criminal policies. And so, you know, this is something that gene therapy will give us the opportunity to do, is equalize health across everyone. The gene therapies can be given like immunizations are given today at a very low cost, but they have very high value of keeping people healthier longer. The great thing about gene modulation in the future is not just to eradicate the diseases of aging, but to actually allow humans to work together, to modulate the hormones that drive us to war and disaster and terrorism, to take those type of things and actually create genetic profiles that will create people who just work towards the bigger goal and can work together in happiness and harmony.
Many of our members want to come back in a physical human body that looks pretty much like, maybe they named the age 25. That seems to be a very popular age for people to aspire to. But many, like me, also would really rather come back in something more glamorous than the biological body. For me personally, I don't really want to come back as a biological entity. It's nice, but it's very limited, it's very fragile. And so my preference is to bring me back, give me a body that's made up of nanobots, sometimes called a nanobot swarm. Just as the human body is made up of trillions of biological cells that work together, the swarm can work together to create the body that you want. And it can be changed anytime you want, unlike a biological body. So if I want to go skiing on Mars, on Olympus Mons, I don't have to worry about the fact that there's no oxygen there. I can have a body that can function without oxygen. That kind of thing is what I'm more interested in personally.
Gorgeous.
I take personally like natural way of life. Then one person is dying and the next one it's been born. That's natural cycle of the life. And for me it's more important in the old age to die with dignity, not to be left alone, not to be without support, either family or medical support. For me, it's how you live and how you die.
My wife and I have different opinions on the Almighty, let's say. I don't believe that there's a bearded fellow watching over us and controlling us, and that there's going to be anything after we die. We are already somewhat at that point where we can choose at any point to stop our lives, right? But people who want to live, who enjoy life, wouldn't it be nice to have the option, provided the technology is available, to extend our lives as long as we wish?